My family's been involved in horse breeding here since the 1980s. My aunt actually registered the first Minnesota bred in the history of racing in the state of Minnesota. So it's really been in the family throughout my entire life. My aunt and grandmother owned horses together all the way up until my grandma passed away. My aunt is still an active owner. And I think that she's won a race at Canterbury Park in like all but 2 or 3 of the years that we've ever raced. So it's always been a special place, a place where our family's gotten together and had a lot of great memories. So I love it here.
An interesting twist with Andrew is that in 2006, when Kevin Gorg was running our press box as a media relations leader, Kevin hired Andrew to be a press box assistant, and now in 2022, you hired Kevin to be one of our analysts. So does that make you feel old or experienced?
Both. Kevin and I had a good laugh about that when we sat down to see if he was interested in coming back this summer, but have a lot of great memories from that era of being with him and you and Dark, Jeff, and the kind of the family that the press box was at that point in time, and still being able to be here and a lot of the same faces makes it feel a lot like home.
That Northern Stars Racing Festival we had with the turf stakes races, big time jockeys and trainers from all over the country and big fields. We handled a Canterbury Downs and or Park High, $4.7 million. What was your read on that now that you've come up for air?
Yeah, unbelievable day of racing, really unparalleled, I think, in what I've looked back at as far as Canterbury's history, maybe only rivaled by a couple of the very early claiming crowns that we hosted in the late 90s and early 2000s. Definitely benefited from Churchill's not being able to use their turf course. But when you saw those fields and the card that was put together, I had a good feeling that a record was a possibility. And then the number that we ended up hitting really blew it out of the water. The racing office did an amazing job getting not only great fields, but a lot of the connections of those horses actually here for the first time. Mm-hmm. So to hear a lot of that positive feedback from the people that usually race in Kentucky was super rewarding. And then obviously to put a big number on top of that was a ton of fun.
Now, Andrew, for those who follow it daily or weekly, and they're just more dedicated to making money with their mind and playing races year-round, it's clear there are smaller fields than we've seen in quite some time nationwide, and that's even at times impacted us here at Canterbury. As a senior vice president of racing, what's your read on that, and how do you handle it?
Sure. Field size is probably the number one challenge that the industry is facing across the country, directly related to full crop size, which everybody knows has been declining over the past 10 years or so. So you're seeing a lot of different ways that different jurisdictions are trying to react to that full crop shortage. We're not immune to it. Obviously, our fields haven't been where we wanted them to be early in the meet. I think that you're going to start to see that improve as we get into some of the 2-year-old racing. Hawthorne, Chicago just closed their meet here the last week, so we're expecting some of those horses to come in for the second half of the season. And then the break that we take for Twin Cities Summer Jam in the 3rd week of July gives our horse population a chance to kind of refresh itself. And I think we're going to come back here in the second half of the season and see significant improvements in field size.